Welcome to our Devos, where this week we've been talking about how to handle when God gives us, or when God allows us to get a big problem. We all have big problems. We all have problems that we have to face. And then we're asking God to give us those solutions. How do we handle big problems? Well, I'm going to dovetail what I said at the beginning of this with kind of the thing that wraps it all together. At the end of the day, when it comes to these problems, well, they're not really about you at all. I hate to say it. I know you think they are, but they're not. Especially when God solves them. Because a lot of times what happens is we tend to think, okay, this is my storyline, this is what God is doing in my life, it's about me, and what I can get out of this. But in reality, God has a bigger picture. And that picture has Him at the center, Him extracting glory. And that's what happens. When God solves your problems, He gets the glory. God gets the glory when your problems are solved. God gets the glory when your problems are solved. So if you ever wonder, well, why would God want to solve my problems? Of course, He loves you. But also, when people see that you come through something, when they see that you've healed from that divorce, when they see that you and your spouse have chosen to work it out instead of divorcing, when they see that you have overcome that sickness and that illness, God gets the glory for that. And you should give Him the glory for that. Now, Daniel was faced with the biggest problem. He was going to be executed for not being able to rightly interpret the king's dream. So he goes to the king and he rightly interprets his dream. And then watch what happens. Look what it says in Daniel chapter 20, 27 through 28. It says, Daniel answered the king, and this is what he says. No wise man, enchanter, magician, or astrologer can show to the king the mystery that the king has asked. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. And he says to the king, look, you are not going to get the answer from any of the men that you were going to execute. The only one that has a solution is God, and He gave it to me. So this is God that gets the glory. Now that would take a lot for me if I was Daniel, because this has made him indispensable in the kingdom, which this later leads to more of his elevation. But I'd be like, just so you know, I'd be sitting there, and we'd all be tempted to do this. I kind of majored in dream interpretation, and I'm pretty useful around here. Maybe you should start to let me kind of have a little more palace time and a little less prison time. Maybe I could get a little bit more kale with my salad instead of, the shellfish that's not kosher. Maybe I could, do this. And you'd think that Daniel would exploit it, but when he goes, look, I'm not giving you the interpretation of this dream. I don't have it. But I'll tell you this, God in heaven has it. And so that's what he does. And I want to tell you, I don't have the answer to your problems. Pastor Mike doesn't have the answer to your problems. And as wholesome and as kind and as fun-loving as he is, Pastor Ron doesn't have the solution to your problems. But God does. And you could go right to Him for those solutions. God wants to solve your problems because when your problems are solved, He gets the glory. And then guess what else happens? The next time you have a problem, well, guess what? You're going to go to Him again. And the next time you have a problem, guess what? You're going to go to Him again because you now have a track record of giving over that problem to God and allowing Him to work out, to take even that big problem and proving to you that He is even bigger.